You Gary Allen? And I was like, yeah, now what I do? Typical, you always think, I run a red light or what I do.
Yeah.
And he goes, and turn the blues on, he goes, yeah, we're escorting you, to the next town, and they escorted all the way down the Connecticut shoreline, town to town to town, through, and then I, crossed the border into New York at Port Chester, Greenwich, and escorted me to the border at Port Chester, and then they picked me up and took me all the way to the NYPD, and I was like, my goodness, I mean, really, is this necessary? It's not, I really am just happy to run on the road and try to make a difference, and it really inspired me. I mean, I'm not ashamed to tell you or anyone in this room that I ran with tears in my eyes a lot. And then I was a sobbing wreck out here. I'm sure the security people last night was like, okay, get rid of the crying fool on the steps. Drag him off, send him back to Maine. But it was emotional last night. It was really, kind of like what people when they climb Mount Everest must feel like. So it's a good journey.
Yeah, that's great.
But as you know, people from Maine are tough. We're a tough group up there.
No, absolutely.
So you can tell your fellow people in your line of work down here when you want to convince them of something. Say, us Maine people are not scared to run to Washington D.C. So we're going to get it done, right?
That's right.
Like if you want to get them to vote for something, you can remind them that Maine people will gladly drop their stuff and run to D.C. So you can use that as a tool.
That's right.
So.
I might need that back to help you a little bit, but
I need a few moments, a little bit stubborn.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna take any more. Where am I staying?
River
Inn. And
Foggy
Foggy
Bottom.
Bottom. It's a beautiful place. I mean, it's typical me. I mean, I just said I'm just running to Washington. I'm not going to worry about the details. I'm just running to Washington. Like I had really no place to stay here. I had no place to stay most of the time, and I just figured, if you do good, then good will come back to you. And I said I certainly won't sleep on the street. Somebody will, because I was active on social media all the way down. I was posting photographs all through Maine and little comments. So I had a lot of followers on the way down, and all I would have to do is just say, has anyone got a couch I can sleep on right down here? And I would have been fine. So. But to have a lovely hotel room with a view is just over the top. I was like, yeah. So it's been good, and I was determined to run every darn step of it, and I said, and I'm going to have to get across that river, and I swim like a rock, not to mention it's like cold out, so I was like, so I'm getting across that river, so I was working on this plan. I said, well, will I run on 95? And I was like, I don't know, I'm sure I'd just get arrested, and should I ask the state police for an escort across that, and should I was just mulling through all these possibilities, and these guys were all working on their phones, looking at routes, and they were like, yeah, they seem to put a temporary pedestrian way across the 1A bypass bridge or whatever, Route 1 bypass bridge, and got across there, and it was great to get in my next state and leave Maine, but it was also sort of felt like a giant rubber band. The further I stretched from home, it just got thinner and thinner and thinner, and now I'm in Washington D.C. This is really Washington D.C., right? So it's pretty cool. It's cool to cover that kind of territory on foot, and running through Princeton, New Jersey. A running shop, came out and some different runners. They were like, we want to give you a shirt from our shop, and then as we exited that town, we came to a Revolutionary War battlefield where George Washington fought, and I stopped there and I was like, by God, if George Washington can march his troops all the way up here and kick some British ass, I ought to be able to get mine to DC from here, because they didn't have Nikes then. I don't know what they had, but not Nikes. So so I thought, well, if George Washington can get all the way up here to New Jersey and do some thrashing, and I had to keep going. So.
Good.
Good. So that was fun for me, but I saw so much of that along the way. Saw a lot of things. I think I'm going to write a book about this.
That's fantastic.
Just a motivational, inspirational little story. So, matter of fact, I am going to write a book about this because I got to do something to document it. It's too fun. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, yeah. But we should push off and let you get back to your day. And, thank you for taking time.
Well, thank you for all you're doing.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Take